Namaste, fellow Java developers, and welcome back to the channel. I am your instructor, ready to guide you through another exciting topic. Today, we are diving deep into a crucial, yet often misunderstood, concept in the Spring framework, the Spring Bean Lifecycle. Understanding how Spring manages your beans from creation to destruction is absolutely essential for writing robust, efficient, and maintainable applications. It allows you to hook into specific moments to perform custom initialization, resource setup, cleanup, and much more. In this tutorial, we will explore the different phases of a bean's life, the various callback mechanisms Spring provides, and how you can leverage them effectively in your projects. We will cover post-construction initialization, pre-destruction cleanup, and even advanced customization using Bean post-processor interfaces. So, grab your virtual pen and paper, and let us begin this journey to master the Spring Bean lifecycle. You will learn about InitializingBean, at post-construct custom init method and destroy method, and also the powerful Bean post-processor interface. This knowledge will empower you to control your beans like a true Spring master. Let us get started. Alright, let us kick things off by understanding the core initialization callbacks. When Spring instantiates a bean, it goes through several steps. First, the bean is created, then its dependencies are injected. After this, Spring offers mechanisms to perform post-construction initialization logic. The two primary ways to do this are by implementing the InitializingBean interface or by using the @postconstruct annotation. When a bean implements InitializingBean, its afterPropertyAsset method is invoked immediately after all properties have been set. Alternatively, the @postconstruct annotation, part of the Java specification request 250, can be placed on any method within your bean, and that method will be executed after dependency injection is complete. Both serve a similar purpose, to execute code after the bean is fully constructed and configured. The @postconstruct annotation is generally preferred because it avoids coupling your bean directly to Spring-specific interfaces, making your code more portable and cleaner. Remember, these are for operations that need to happen once the bean is ready for use. For example, opening a database connection or loading configuration files. Moving beyond simple initialization, Spring offers even more granular control over the bean lifecycle, particularly for custom initialization and destruction methods, and for advanced customization using Bean post-processor. You can specify custom init method and destroy method attributes in your bean definition, either in XML configuration or using @bean annotations in Java configuration. These methods will be called at the appropriate lifecycle stages. The init method is invoked after the InitializingBean .afterPropertyAsset and @postconstruct methods. The destroy method is called when the Spring container is shutting down, allowing you to release resources. But for truly advanced, application-wide customization, we have the Bean post-processor interface. This powerful interface allows you to intervene before and after any bean's initialization method is called. It has two methods, post-process before initialization and post-process after initialization. By implementing a Bean post-processor, you can modify Bean instances, wrap them with proxies, or perform cross-cutting concerns for all beans managed by the Spring container. This is a very advanced concept, but incredibly useful for framework-level extensions. Now, let us bring all these concepts together with a practical example. Imagine we have a MyService bean that needs to perform some setup upon creation and some cleanup upon destruction. We will use @post construct for initial setup, define a custom init method and destroy method in our configuration, and also observe a bean post processor in action. When we run our Spring application, you will see a clear sequence of operations printed to the console. First, the bean post processor as post process before initialization will be called for our MyService. Then, the @post construct method, followed by the InitializingBean as after property asset if implemented, and then our custom init method will execute. Finally, when the application context is closed, the custom destroy method will be invoked, allowing us to gracefully release resources. This example perfectly illustrates the order in which Spring executes these various lifecycle callbacks, giving you full control over your bean's operational flow. Observe how each method contributes to the bean's journey from creation to destruction. As you delve into the Spring Bean lifecycle, it is easy to stumble upon a few common mistakes. One frequent error is forgetting to explicitly close the application context in standalone applications. If you do not close it, your destroy method callbacks will never be invoked, leading to resource leaks like open database connections or file handles. Always ensure you call context.close or register a shutdown hook. Another mistake is misunderstanding the order of execution. Remember @post construct and InitializingBean after property asset run before custom init method s. For simple, bean-specific initialization, @post construct is often the cleanest choice. Use bean post processor only when you need to apply logic to multiple beans or modify their structure across the application, as it is a powerful but complex tool. Do not over-engineer, choose the simplest callback mechanism that fits your needs. Always test your lifecycle methods thoroughly to ensure they behave as expected, especially in scenarios involving exceptions during initialization or destruction. This will save you a lot of debugging time. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the Spring Bean lifecycle. We have covered a lot today, from the basic initialization callbacks like @post construct and InitializingBean to custom init method and destroy method configurations, and even the advanced bean post processor for application-wide bean customization. Remember, understanding these concepts is crucial for managing resources effectively, performing necessary setup and cleanup, and extending Spring's core functionality. The key takeaways are: beans have a clear life cycle, Spring provides various hooks, and the order of execution matters. I hope this tutorial has demystified this important topic for you. Now it is your turn to practice. Implement these concepts in your own Spring projects. Experiment with different callback mechanisms and observe their behavior. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more advanced Java and Spring tutorials. Your support helps us create more valuable content for you. Keep coding, keep learning, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.